TV back again with another video. I had to make sure I had to say that slow because sometimes I think I'll be saying franchise history TV. That's my other channel where I talk about entertainment, particularly the movies, TV shows, entertainment of the past. I keep forgetting to plug this channel. Some of y'all already follow the channel, but I'm gonna plug it again. I'll probably link it down below. Franchise History TV. I also got another channel which is more of the traveling realm called Lone Wolf Adventure TV. I got that. I got two other channels. Those are the other two. But like, share, subscribe to all three of them if you're interested in entertainment or traveling. But anyways, so I was listening to this video today. Big shout out to Ticket TV. I know he got a lot of big things going on that channel. I know he has like, I wouldn't say guess other YouTubers holding shows on there, giving people another chance to get their name out there in the YouTube world. So big shout out to him. But one of the shows, I just caught a clip of one of his shows, and it was a YouTuber named Mr. Mass. If you guys heard of him, and I guess he was interviewing former NBA player Chris Copeland, who was I don't want to say a journeyman, but he was on a couple of teams, most notably the New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers, also as well as the Milwaukee Bucks during Giannis's early years. But Mr. Mass said something interesting today, because I saw the clip, because I saw the YouTube video, and it said Giannis quit. And at first I'm thinking, is he saying, Mr. Mass saying he quit during last week's game, during the against the Miami Heat? And then I expanded the freaking video and realized it said, no, Giannis quit during the Eastern Conference semifinals last year against against the Boston Celtics in Game 7. And I thought about it, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. He didn't quit. So basically what Mr. Mass said, that he pointed out all Giannis' shortcomings the 2019 Eastern Conference Finals when he went against the Wall, as they claim, because before that Wall came up, the Bucks were up 2-0 against the Toronto Raptors, and he was kicking everybody's ass. But Nick Nurse decided, I'm going to put not just Kawhi on him, but I'm going to stick freaking Marc Gasol in the paint so he can make it harder for Giannis to get to the basket, since he's not really a big-time shooter. And it worked. Nobody else stepped up, and they pointed out the freaking Miami 4-1 series, which I think Giannis got hurt in, sprained his ankle. People forget about that. And then he brought up how brilliant he was during the 2021 playoffs, which the Bucks won it all. And then he brings up the Game 7 against the Celtics, Boston Celtics. Now, I watched this series thoroughly. I think Game 6 I turned it up because I was quite pissed Game 6 because the Bucks were actually had a huge lead, but they had the pulse on the Celtics. And for some reason, they just decided to, lose it. But I remember that series particularly because he points out that Giannis wasn't as aggressive, and it seemed like he gave up. But I do remember Giannis was basically a one-man wrecking machine during that series. Everybody else was stagnant for some entire reason, just because Chris Middleton wasn't there. And I do remember during that playoffs, hold on right quick, let me put the stats up, just to back my claim up, because Giannis did something interesting during that series that people seem to forget. But it's one thing that Mr. Mass pointed out that kind of killed this argument, was that Giannis had 20 rebounds. I think he had 26 points and 20 rebounds. It's only so much Giannis can do against that top-ranked defense that the Boston Celtics had last year. People forget that Boston Celtics team last year stopped KD, swept KD. And I think Mr. Mass, from listening to him, I think he's a KD fan, so he's quiet about that. But everybody forget about that. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find it. Giannis did something amazing, but basically Giannis was a one-man wrecking crew, and he took the Boston Celtics Game 7, something that Chris Copeland pointed out. He took them to Game 7. KD and Kyrie couldn't do that at all. They couldn't do that. So what does that tell you about the greatness of Giannis? See, I respect Mr. Mass, his take. He can say whatever you want to say. I'm not going to sit here and argue with him. No, I'm not going to do that. But you can't leave off all the facts here when it comes to that. You just can't do that. It doesn't make no sense. Let's see here. Point this out right quick. No, that's 22. That's the second. That's last year. I mean, this year. Let's see here. Where's the Celtics at? Well, he put up 44 points and 20 rebounds and 6 assists in that Game 6 loss against the Celtics, joining Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt Chamberlain as the only players in playoff history to post a 40-25 game. In that Game 7, Giannis got 25 and 20 and 9 assists. He almost had a triple-double in that game. And here it is. This is a stat that happened after this postseason for him. Giannis became the first player in NBA history to have 200 points, 100 rebounds, 50 assists in a playoff series, averaging 33.9, 14.7 rebounds, 7.1 assists against the Boston Celtics. He finished the postseason averaging 31.7, 14.2 rebounds, 6 assists in 12 playoff games. Therefore, he's the first player to average 31, 14, 6 across an entire postseason. So I don't get the point. Maybe he should use his words differently. I wouldn't say quit. I just said that he was probably, because the way he looked tired. He was doing everything out there. How much more does he need? Nobody else stepped up. I'm sitting there watching Grayson Allen breaking crap. Drew Holiday jacking up shots, which he forget to mention. Mr. Mass forget to mention, but Chris Copeland reminded him that. Chris Middleton didn't play. It's like, God, are we just going to keep demeaning Giannis' accomplishments? I don't get that. And I think he finished the season 4th consecutive NBA defensive first team. He's tied with fellow Milwaukee Buck, former Milwaukee Buck and 2-time NBA Defensive Player Award winner Sidney Moncrief for the most selections in history. He was also selected as his 4th consecutive NBA All-First Team and 2nd consecutive overall. He became the first player in club history to earn 6 All-NBA team honors, passing Kareem and Sidney Moncrief in franchise history. I know that has nothing to do with the Boston Celtics, but we can't keep denying his greatness. Every NBA player has came up short. Everybody. There's no NBA player that did not come up short. I mean, that never came up short. And this is not biased by me, simply because I'm a Bucks fan and a Giannis fan. But we just can't keep denying people's greatness all the time. I'm going to say this. LeBron is great. No doubt he is great. I just say he ain't greater than MJ. KD is great. But the things I see from KD, I don't like. Stephen Curry is great. All these players that came after Jordan are great. But there's levels to some of this stuff. Now, Giannis may, in his career, as being the number 1 best power forward of all time, beating out Tim Duncan. Neither he gets 5 rings, 6 rings, or 2 rings, or 1 ring. Some people even consider him to be better than Tim Duncan now, which I had to have some pushback because Tim Duncan was that dude. Now, you can say he's better than Karl Malone, even though Karl Malone is now third in all-time scoring. But you look at everything else, he might be better than Karl Malone, Dirk, KG. But to say even Kevin McHale, but to say he's probably better than Tim Duncan, accomplishment-wise, nah. I'll give it some time. But that's all I had to say about it. Giannis did not quit. I just think the Boston Celtics were just a better team in that game. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to point out before I leave. He also said, Mr. Mass also pointed out Grant Williams shooting all those threes. That's a team thing. And that's something that Budenholzer, I don't like about Budenholzer, because for some reason he didn't think, oh, maybe we should close out the three and make them shoot twos, force them to drive to the basket. They didn't think about that, did they? I don't even think Grant Williams, they didn't say something about Giannis should have hold Jason Tatum, a whole bunch of stuff. Stupid stuff. But I bet you this year they play each other. I bet Jason Tatum will be locked up. He better hope, but they probably ain't going to put Giannis on Jason Tatum. It makes no sense. Put Jay Crowder on him. But anyways, tell me what you guys think. Oh yeah, before I forget, shout out to Mr. Mass and Chris Copeland and Ticket TV's channel. Big shout out to them. They do make great work over there. I do like Mr. Mass videos. I think he made a live stream like a couple weeks ago about Kobe. I like that other people are trying to keep this legacy alive, because you know how some of these other YouTubers are now starting to say that what's his name, Jokic is just as good as Kobe offensive wise or overall, which is stupid. But big shout out to Mr. Mass and his channel and Ticket TV and Chris Copeland. Just had to point that fact out. I had to respond to that.